An expedition into a bizarre, transformed landscape leads to transformation of a personal kind for the explorers themselves in Annihilation. That's the book I'm reviewing on this episode of SFF180. Hello, everybody. Annihilation is the first book in the Southern Reach trilogy, a new series by Jeff VanderMeer, an author who, along with guys like China Miéville, is closely associated with the New Weird movement in fantastic literature. Now, Annihilation is an odyssey narrative in which a journey outwards into the world is meant to represent, or rather, sets the stage for an inner journey. Now, the setting of the book is an unspecified realm, presumably on the American coast somewhere, called Area X. Now, this is an area where nature seems to be taking over, as if it is reclaiming the landscape from human civilization in an oddly purposeful and very aggressive fashion. Now, we are following the 12th expedition into Area X, consisting of 4 women, a psychologist, an anthropologist, a surveyor, and a biologist. The biologist is our viewpoint character. None of the characters have any names. The biologist herself is an emotionally aloof, rather antisocial individual who has, since her childhood, felt a much greater affinity to the bugs and the plants and the critters and everything in the world around her, much more so than she does to other people in her life, including her own husband and family. Now, many of the previous expeditions have all come to grief in one or another way, very strangely. Some of the earlier expeditions, everyone committed suicide. In another one, everyone turned their guns on each other for some reason. In the 11th expedition, the one prior to this one, the explorers somehow managed to make their way back to civilization, although no one is really quite sure how, only to die later on of cancer. Now, you might very well wonder, why do they keep sending expeditions into this area? Well, that's just human nature. We have to explore, we have to discover, especially if things are very dangerous. And that's what we do with things that are dangerous and we don't understand them. First, we fear them, but then we feel like in order to stop fearing them, we have to understand them and then tame them. Now, unlike most science fiction, which is all about discovery and exploration and learning, the scientific method, Annihilation presents its characters with a circumstance in which the more they learn, the less they really know. Or rather, the more they discover, the more they find out that trying to fit Area X into conventional notions of understanding the world around us is going to bring very strange, very unpleasant, and quite often tragic results. And this is probably why the biologist, who once again is someone who feels the least affinity to her fellow man, the most aloof, the most detached, almost in, you might say, she's never really been part of humanity in the first place. This is why she is probably the one character out of all of them best equipped to understand and come to terms with what is going on in this realm. Now, the haunting, almost hallucinatory narrative of Annihilation actually put me in mind of a couple of films. One of these would have been the classic Andrei Tarkovsky film Stalker, which was itself based on a Russian science fiction novel, Roadside Picnic. Another more recent movie would be Ben Wheatley's A Field in England, a very psychotropic movie. Both of these are stories in which characters enter strange, unknown territories and undergo profound inner change as a result. Now, like those films, Annihilation, with its clear refusal to offer anything in the way of clear answers, clear solutions, comfortable, tidy resolutions to things, as well as its prioritizing of the experience of everything, the moods, the atmospheres, the textures of what is going on, and how these kind of affect you psychologically. All of this is going to be a little bit alienating to less adventurous readers, but I think there is a definite place in science fiction, and particularly weird fiction, for the experiential, because these stories remind us that the inner spaces are still every bit as big a mystery to us as outer space. Now, it's true that I probably found something a little bit frustrating in Annihilation in that the payoffs we do get, at least for me personally, I felt like they were building perhaps to something that ended up being a bit less earth-shattering than I was led to expect, but at the end of the day, there is still much that is unforgettable, so many scenes, many moments, many individual images that are indelible, very unforgettable, they stick in your mind, and it's very rare to come across a story with those qualities. Now, you'll notice that I have been very, very close to the vest about offering anything very detailed about plot synopsis and backstory and things like that. That's because there are a great many secrets in this book that really you need to discover. These really are things that you need to unearth for yourself. You really do need to take the journey yourself. However, ultimately, whether or not you succumb to Annihilation's dreamlike siren song is all going to depend really on which of the characters you relate to the most. Like some of the characters, are you going to not be able to come to terms with any of this, and are you going to be swallowed up and absorbed by all of it? Or, like others, are you going to be able to find your own way to make an uneasy peace with the strangeness that surrounds you? And that's all I've got time for on this episode of SFF180, everybody. Check the About section below for relevant links, including the Amazon link. Also, if you enjoy this video, please leave a like. Remember the most important thing, these are reviews. You're not always going to agree with me. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share this with your SFF reading friends. Above all, please subscribe to the channel, help it grow, spread the word out there, and until I see you next time, happy reading.